Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. I'm now 8 weeks before my average last frost date, and this is a busy time for planting, so I thought I'd share with you the things that I'm going to be getting planted. For vegetables, it is tomato and eggplant week for me. So I have another video going over the tomato varieties that I plan to grow this year, but I have picked up a couple of extras that I don't think were included in that video, so I thought I'd just show you really quick. So first off, I had said if I could get my hands on a Sun Gold tomato package of their seeds, I was going to grow those. And I already had some on order I had forgotten about, so they just hadn't come in yet. So I have Sun Gold tomatoes. I'm going to be growing those. They're a cherry tomato. And every time I put out a tomato video, someone says to me, you need to grow Sun Gold. So Sun Gold, I'm growing it this year. Then I had someone comment about the black vernissage. Now, I had said that I had tried the green vernissage last year. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. But I'd received a free package of the green one, the seeds for the green vernissage last year, and I tried them. I just absolutely did not like them. But I had someone comment that they felt that the black vernissage was worth growing even though the green isn't, and that I should try it. So I'm going to start some and I'll try and tuck them into my garden somewhere. And then I have the Cheesemans and the Elfin tomatoes. And these are both supposed to be small grape type tomatoes, and they're I believe both determinate and between like 50 and 60 day maturity. Tomatoes, they're supposed to be nice little tomatoes that'll be good for throwing into salads and things. And I don't know, I guess they caught me at a weak moment because they're very similar in their description from what I can see, but I ordered both of them. So that's the extra tomatoes. If you want to see the rest of the tomatoes that I'm going to be growing, you can check out my What I'm Growing Tomatoes video that I put out earlier this year. And I think with these 4 varieties here, I think that brings me up to 11 varieties altogether of tomatoes. And then I have just old seed that I've been using forever for eggplant. One is the Black Beauty and one is Violetta. So this is a long, narrow, like Asian type eggplant. And this is the larger kind of for slicing up like eggplant Parmesan type eggplant. I really enjoy eggplant, so I like to have both varieties. One's good, like I like this one for cutting up and cooking in with like quartered cherry tomatoes and zucchini, onions, things like that, and mixing them together that way. And this one is good for making, like I said, your like eggplant Parmesan, or just making slices and cooking on the barbecue or roasting, grilling, that kind of thing. So that's what I like to use my eggplant for. So I'll be planting these. I'll be planting these in the next few days. I have quite a few videos about planting tomatoes, I believe, so I'll put some links to some of those below if you're interested, or just check out my pepper sowing video, because that would give you a really good idea of how to do these. They're both these plants are nice, good sized seeds. They're easy to sow, and they don't really need any special treatment. Some people prefer to put their tomatoes and eggplants on a heat mat once they've sown them. I don't always do that because I don't find it always necessary, but it's like around 27 degrees Celsius in my room here. So if you have a cooler space that you're starting them, definitely some bottom heat will help. But if you have a space that's a small room filled with grow lights and plants like I do, it might not be as necessary. Today, I'm actually going to be starting my flowers for my 8 weeks before my average last frost, and I have quite a few. There's a couple of fungus gnats in here, so if you see them flying around, I apologize. I just put out fresh sticky traps today, and I always water with mosquito bits, mosquito dunks water, so that should take care of them pretty quickly here. So what am I sowing today? I have Summer Fruits pincushion flower. I have 2 types of osteospermum. One is Sunset Shades and one is Asti Mix. I have soapwort or rockwort. This is a perennial, and I just want to get a few more going of this just to have a bit more in my yard. I have some already. This is Nicotiana. This is the small nicotine type plant. This is more the bedding plant size. There's also the annual one that can get quite tall, and I don't grow that one. This is just a smaller one, and this is Safe Seed from the perfume mix that I've grown in the past, and I've been using this same Safe Seed for a couple of years now, but I think it should still be good and viable. Ornamental millet. This is a really pretty ornamental millet. It's Jade Princess. It has like a burgundy kind of flower and stalk. I believe the leaves start out green. Now I can't remember, I haven't grown it in a couple of years, but I remember I just absolutely loved it, and I liked putting it in arrangements, flower arrangements in the autumn, and I enjoyed having it just as a decorative feature in the yard as well. So get some of that going. I don't think I said this yet. The Status Apricot Beauty. Get that going. And then I have quite a few impatiens seeds that I've saved over the years, so I'll be planting sowing some of those as well. So lots of things to get sown. I have my channel tray here, or row tray. So it's just, see if I can show you without dumping things. Several different rows. There's no individual cells, it's just rows that run the full width of the tray. And they're, yeah, almost 2 fingers wide, maybe 1.5. Technical measurement there. And I've just put a piece of masking tape across the end here where I'm looking, so I can see it with the names for each of the seeds or plants that I'm planning on growing in each row. And I'm just going to sow them in here. You can see I have a few things sown in here already. And there's some snapdragons. I have rocket mix and Potomac early orange snapdragons, and then I have bright-eyed chrysanthemums. I have feverfew and yarrow in the next two. They're not doing much. Yarrow, I have 3 or 4 plants coming up. I thought I had seen feverfew, but I don't see it anymore, so I'm not sure what happened there. And then I have some salpiglosis, or painted tongue, paisley flower, you might know it as. So those are coming along there. I'm going to leave them for a little bit longer. The chrysanthemum is getting close. It's starting to get some true leaves. I could pull those out now, but I'm going to leave them just another few days, and I'll work on that. But I still have lots of empty rows here that I can get started with things that I want to sow today. So that's the beauty of the row tray. I can sow them really thickly and then pull them out into individual cells or pots when I see what has come up, instead of sowing a whole tray and then finding out that some don't come up and I have empty cells. So that's the beauty of a row tray or channel tray. I'm just going to be following the instructions on the package. The only thing that I'll be varying from is a few of these plants or seed packs are going to have said to start them later, like at more the 4 to 6 weeks. I can't remember which ones it is. It's the pincushion flower, or the scabiosa, or the pincushion flower. But when I did some research for my area here in Saskatchewan, Canada, it was recommended to sow them a bit earlier. So I'm going to do that. I've never grown that before, so we'll see how it works out, and maybe I'll have way too big a plant by the time it's time to plant them out, but I'd rather that than way too small. So it's quite a ways into the video here, and I haven't even started planting anything. So I'm just going to get going and just follow the instructions on the packages. Impatiens, just go right on the soil surface. They're small seeds and they need light to germinate. So I'm just going to sprinkle them across the surface of the soil here. And these are collected seeds, so I'm going to sprinkle them quite liberally because you don't always have the same germination rate. So I've done 2 rows of the impatiens here, because I usually go through quite a few, and they don't get to be huge plants, but they're great shade-loving plants that flower and still give you lots of nice bright color in the shade. So I like to always have some growing. What's next on my list here? Status. It says just to sow them on the soil surface, that they need light to germinate. And I had a quick look through, and it looks like a lot of the things here that I need to do today need that. Oh yeah, if I had looked at these, I could have probably guessed that. Not as small as some, but pretty small size. So I've grown Status before, many, many years ago. It's a great drought tolerant plant. Nice stiff stems, just a little bit of a different look. I think it'll be a great filler for bouquets in that, and just a nice pollinator attracting plant. But I've never grown it from seed before, so. But it's just kind of press it into the soil surface is what it says, and it needs light to germinate. And there's still lots in there. Now I can grow another year. Now, pincushion flower or scabiosa is next. And it's the same type of instructions as before, so we just want to put it on the soil surface. Oh, I thought that was a little... Not sure why I thought that was a little package inside of the package, but it wasn't. Good thing they're big seeds because I just dumped them everywhere. Can't believe I did that. Somehow there's still lots in there. Okay, I have these seeds everywhere. Okay, so that's what the seeds look like now that I've picked them up off the everywhere. I would have expected that these got covered up more, but it just says to cover lightly, that light aids in germination. So I'm just going down and I'm just spacing them about 1 centimeter or so apart. And I'm guessing these little husk things that I'm holding are actually like capsules that hold the seed. So I'm just going to push them down really well into the soil. It says to lightly cover them, but I'm going to come back with vermiculite afterwards and cover them up. I'm going to put these things, I really feel like the seed is supposed to be in these husks and I don't see it, so I'm sowing them a bit thicker than I originally was. So I've seen a few little things that look like seeds and the husks look empty. Be interesting to see if these come up. I'm just not sure what to think. So there, I sowed them a little closer because I just don't know. I'm just not sure if there's actually seeds in these little husk things. Some of them look so empty. Some of them look like they had a couple little kind of seed tops sticking out of them, so I'm just not sure. That's why we try things, I guess, hey? We'll learn. So I'm going to come back over this with vermiculite, and that's what I'll cover them up with. So I'm just going to push these in because they said to cover lightly. And then I'll cover them with the vermiculite, and I'm going to put a little bit of vermiculite on everything. The osteospermum. I love osteospermum. I've grown it for many years. It's a brand new package. It felt like it was open already. Man, this is not my day. There's like 6 seeds in here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seeds. Huh. Very strange. Okay, I hope these are what I'm looking for. They looked online to be very beautiful autumnal colors, very similar to some that I picked up at the store last year. And I'm hoping to have that again this year. Boy, I hope I have 100% germination because that's a really pathetic amount of seeds. Veseys usually gives you more seeds than that. And that package seemed open, and I'm almost wondering. There's a couple more in here stuck in the corner. If I can get them out. One more. So that's Sunset Shades. And this one is packaged the way I would expect it to be because I can feel inside. This is how they usually come packaged, with an extra envelope inside yet. There's still not a lot in here, but there's a few more than the other. And again, osteos like you to just cover them very lightly to provide light to help with germination. So that's what I'll be doing. Yeah, there's not very many more in here either. So that's 1. Yeah, there was 10 in that package as well. And maybe it said that on the website and I missed it. This is the Asti mix. And so the Astis I've usually grown before are white with a purple eye or purple with a yellow eye. So this is a mix. I'm not sure what I'll get, but out of 10 seeds, hopefully I have some cohesion. What's next? The rockwort. So I don't actually need a lot of these, but I just thought since I was starting the channel tray, I'll just start them in there. I just want a few more just to add into what I already have. So they're just very small little, they're round little seeds, almost like a cabbage or a cauliflower seed or something. A little bit smaller though. So I'll just sprinkle them across here. And this is a perennial and it does come back in my area. It's called soapwort because when you take the leaves of the plant, I've never tried it, but they say if you take the leaves of the plant and kind of work them in water, they foam up and bubble up like soap. So it's supposed to be kind of fun to play with kids that way, but I never have. And these are supposed to be 1/8 of an inch. So again, a good covering of vermiculite will be enough for those. And then I have the Nicotiana. And this is seed that I've just collected and saved off my own plants, like I said before. So I've just put them in these little vials and labeled them. So it helps keep them straight. They're pretty small seed as well. There's some chaff in there, but it's very small seed. And I'm just going to sprinkle it across as well. This is another one that likes light to germinate. And it's a very small, tiny little. So the ornamental millet, again, says to cover the seed lightly. So I'll just try and make a little furrow down the center of the channel. And these say to provide bottom heat. I don't plan on putting an actual heat mat under this tray, but where I'm putting it, I have T5 grow lights on the shelf underneath. If you're curious about what I mean by that, I just put out a video about my grow shelving and showing the things growing on it. And those T5s, actually the ballasts from them give off a fair amount of heat. So the trays that sit on top of them actually get some heat off of that. So that should be enough for these. If they're not germinating after a little while, then I will come back and pop them onto some heat. But the other plants aren't going to really want that. Man, this is another veseys package that was new that has next to no seed in it. So I don't know if they were having trouble with their seed or if it's just the way the world is now that we're not getting as many seeds in our packs as we used to, but I really hope the germination is good on these. So I'm just going to go through and sprinkle some vermiculite, like I said. So the ones that wanted to be covered lightly, I'll put a little bit of a heavier sprinkling on. The ones that said directly to have light to germinate, that I will just put a very fine layer of vermiculite on. The vermiculite does help to regulate the water, the moisture levels at the top, help keep some moisture by the seed, and it'll also help to keep it from getting too wet, which can help keep fungus, gnats, and things away because it's keeping fungus from developing on the top of your seed trays, and that's what the fungus gnats are after. So they're all sown now, and I'm just going to set them. I'll put a humidity dome over top. I'll keep an eye on it. If it's getting a lot of humidity building up that I find might be a problem for these plants that are already growing, I can always take the dome off and just find a small piece of clear plastic, a small plastic lid or something to put over this section of the container here. I will spray it with some just clear water, and that'll just help to settle the soil down and the seeds into the soil. And I would expect for most of these within a week to 2 weeks I should see some germination happening. I didn't read every single package, but that's what they seem to be saying on most of them, and that's pretty standard for most things. So obviously on the shelf under the lights, because most all of these seeds wanted light to germinate, and I have some plants growing in here already, so they need the light. And we'll just wait and see. I'll let you know when I have some action going on in these trays here. So hopefully you found that interesting. That's my 8 weeks before my average last frost planting of flowers. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.